Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Yetunde. I hope you've subscribed. Please do if you've not. I'd love to read from you. Drop your comments and thank you for coming back. Today I want to talk about the usefulness of the shoulder that I've taught it, and I want to just show one of the uses, transferring the shoulder that into the princess seam line, and how you can just basically drop the princess line easily. So this was the full form. I've turned it, but I'm just going to explain it. This is the full form of a half length bodice with the shoulder dart. Now if you want to turn just your basic blouse with the shoulder dart into a princess seam, now you could have turned it into a princess seam even if you have closed the shoulder dart. But I want to show the usefulness of leaving the shoulder dart for maybe your princess seam, your bustiers, your corsetry. Now note that this is just a princess seam. If it is going to be a princess seam bustier, would have to do suppression up here and would have to do suppression down here. Maybe some other time I can talk. Now what do you mean by suppression? Suppression means you would have to still increase this part to fit your upper bust, and you'd have to still increase this dart here to take care of excesses at your under bust. Suppression means suppressing the excess. So we've done the waistline, but the under bust we did not take cater for it when we're doing the dart. So if we want to do suppression, we would have to, take out the excess and the under bust at the upper bust for a bustier. But this is just a princess seam that will fit in and also look like a bustier. So you have the shoulder dart. Let your shoulder dart be in your princess seam. So you're just going to, your shoulder dart, you would have your armhole, half of your armhole. My armhole is 8.5. Half of it is 4.25. You mark that on the armhole line. Please note that it is not a compulsory thing that your princess starts from the middle. It can be a little above or a little below, depending on how you like it. Sometimes I go a little above, but I'm just going to leave this in the middle. That's the norm. One thing I know about fashion is if you don't know the rules, you can't break it. But once you know the rules, you can tweak it to your own satisfaction. So half of it. Now let me also talk about the curve. Now some people will take their princess seam curve and they will let the curve come so deep that it will be too curvy. Once it is too curvy, it will give you a problem when you are sewing. There will be friction when you are sewing the dress. So it should just be a smooth curve. So see how I'm using my curve. So you just push your curve out a little and draw your princess seam line meeting your bust point. Okay, once you've done that, that's all you need for your princess seam. You see, it's not much stress. So just take your full bodice form with the shoulder dart and you can turn it into your princess seam. Once you have drawn the line to meet your bust point, you've ruled the line, then you can take your scissors and cut your dart out. You cut your dart to link it to your bust point, and then you also cut this out. So once you cut this out, you see that we've not folded this dart, but that does not mean that you're going to place this dart like this and sew. Now by the time we raise the shoulder dart, it's going to transfer this dart into the princess seam. So by the time we fold this, you can see that it is giving the princess seam. So any excess that what the shoulder dart is doing, which is giving fitting to your shoulder to accentuate the bust, it can also give you with the princess seam. So but if you don't put your shoulder seam into this princess seam, your shoulder seam will just be straight up here and have a dart. For it to have good fitting, let your inner piece have the shoulder dart, and then but before you transfer on your fabric, close your dart and pin it. Okay, so I close my dart now, or you paper tape it. I like to pin, but I'll just maintain that same place that I have pinned. If you want to know how to do the shoulder dart, please check a previous video and do that. So once you do that, it is putting a dart here. That's what's also called transferring the shoulder dart into the princess seam. And you can also even transfer both of them into the dart. You can see transferring it into the dart, it gives it more fullness. So by the time you tape this place and tape this place, okay, if we end up taping this, more accentuation. Now because you see some people that say that pattern, people that use pattern drafting, it gives fitting. That's because everything is accurate. If you're using your fabric directly, I don't think it will be easy to put a dart, just even an ordinary dart, if you want to split out your princess seam. Well, it's possible, but I think using this method is just good. So by the time I'm just going to pin, I want to show you how the bust would come. So even if you're not doing a princess seam, even if you're not doing a bust here and you have your shoulder dart, it just helps to give fitting. So another thing I'll talk about is when you are sewing, just add your 0.5-inch allowance to, or even if you can do less than 0.5 to this middle, because too much allowance might not be able to sew very well. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you can see that there is accent, there's already the bulginess at the bust. So if you don't have to do your bust here all the time to give your bust accentuation, your normal dart and your shoulder dart alone can give your bust accentuation. So if you sew back like this, your bust is coming fine, your that is fitted, your upper body is fitted, your yoke area is fitted. Now if you want your princess seam, you can also use the shoulder dart. If you don't want this princess seam line, I also like to use the shoulder seam line sometimes, because I think maybe we've overflocked the princess seam line. So while you're cutting your allowance, please just add, if you can do less than 0.5, so that the sewing will be smooth. So if you don't want this one, you can paper tape this back and then cut out this your shoulder seam dart. By the time you cut this out and you sew this back, that's the shoulder seam princess line. They are all under what you call style lines. Then you also name the center piece and the side piece. We've talked about if you want to pad it, you just do your bust radius all the way around. But that's just how the effect of shoulder seam on your princess seam and transferring your dart from here to here. I hope you've learned something, even if you can do your princess seam and you'll not be adding the shoulder dart. You can see the effect that the shoulder dart will add. But if you are putting it at the back, where princess seam is not necessary at the back, if you are putting it at the back, the same thing, your the small dart that is at the back, you transfer. We didn't talk about shoulder dart at the back, so you can just do this for the front and do your normal basic back. Or if you want to do your normal princess seam, there's no need for you to have a shoulder dart. This is going to have a dart because of the bust area. So I think that's with that way your princess seam can have more fitting. I have a video on princess seam, but I'm sure this is a well updated style on how you can cut your princess seam. Now this is an half cut. Your dress can be to the full length. So obviously you have the dart to the triangle, then you also pin it back if it's the normal blouse. So by the time you pin it back, you also just cut out that dart line. If your dart line does not reach the blouse end, just draw the straight line, cut it all the way. Princess seam is always in pieces. You have the center piece and you have the side piece, and you know definitely when you're transferring on fabric, you add your allowances. So every part, this place less than 0.5, the other part 0.5, and the side maybe your 1.5 or your 1 inch, depending on how you add your allowance. Another beautiful thing about princess seam is that why pattern is useful is that you can now learn to, if you use your fabric, another fabric for this place, you can use another fabric. If it's maybe a striped fabric, you can use the straight stripe, and this one you can use like maybe a diagonal stripe or a horizontal stripe. It just gives you the beauty of doing whatever you want with your pattern. So I hope you've learned something. Thank you for coming to our channel, and come back for something else. Stay safe and bye for now.